Well, I'm trying to set up a cell starter, so I first need to locate the queen, and I'm having so much trouble. I've been through every frame in 30 frames, 3 boxes, and I can't find her. I know she's in there for sure. There's eggs, there's larvae, there's lots of brood. They've got a good queen, just can't locate her. Supposedly she's marked. Obviously they've superseded, so the daughter of the marked queen is in there somewhere. Alright, so here's how I'm going to solve that problem. I got an empty box, and I got a queen excluder. This is at one time when a queen excluder comes in handy. Alright, now I'm going to find another empty box, a super without a bottom board on it, and we'll put that on and use it as a shell. What I'm after here is I'm going to shake bees down into the bottom box, and the queen excluder above will hold the queen there. Alright, I got a empty super out of the stack here. I put this on top of the excluder like that, and I'll get the cobwebs out of it. Okay, now we can start shaking bees, see if we can find her that way. Come and help me see if we can find her. She should be crawling around all against the queen excluder, and easier to find if she was on one of those frames. Typically the queen will like to crawl into a corner somewhere and hide down there. She'll be in one of the corners. Not many of these workers are going through the excluder, some of them are. So she should be easier to find. She'll kind of be waddling around down there. I'm looking for a big abdomen. I'm looking for Her Highness's big hiney, and I don't see her anywhere. Okay, I'll try the next box. I'm going to put these bees back in here, and then I'll shake that box in. We failed to find her last time we were in here. We were looking for her the other day, and I couldn't find her either. So she's pretty elusive. I don't know why. She likes to run and hide. Found her. She just flew away. She couldn't have flown too far. Here she is. Okay. She was in there. She's kind of stripy. She was in there. Alright. I'm going to mark her, and so we don't lose her. Be right back. Alright, I marked the queen. She's drying off in her box, in her little cage there. Meanwhile, the bees I shook into here are all marching back from the shaker box into the hive. I'm going to finish setting up the cell starter. I'm going to take most of the brood. Most of the brood's coming out of here, and I'm going to put it on another colony. Except for maybe one frame, 2 frames, I'm going to put in a nuke box with the queen bee. I'll put her in here, set her about 20 feet away, 30 feet away, so these bees that like to march back into their box won't smell the queen bee right around the corner and march into that box. All right, set it some distance away until they've started and finished the cells. Then I can put the queen back in here. Take a frame of honey, put it in the nuke box. I'll take a mostly empty, put it in the nuke box. As soon as the queen's paint is dry, I'll put her back in here. Okay, I think the queen's paint's dry. Let me go get the queen. We'll put her back in here and move this some distance away. Okay, it's maybe 20 feet away from the original colony. That's far enough that they won't find her. And we'll just put that back the way it was in about a week and a half. We take some brood, put it in this box. Brood, I'm going to shake the bees off. Brood, shake the bees off in the starter. Open brood, there'll be nurse bees on this. That's what we want. Shake those off in the starter. Give these to another colony, let them take care of them for now. More brood. Another frame of brood. I think this is all honey. Make sure we don't have any eggs. Okay, I don't see any eggs in there, even if there's open cells. I want to check them thoroughly. We're okay. It's all honey, open cells, that's good. Leave it. Check to make sure there's no eggs. Okay, this stays in here. In the cell starter, you want space for them to put honey and space for them to draw a comb. That'll keep them from making that webbing around the queen cells. I used to condense these down into a nuke box to invoke the swarm response in bees. So I haven't found that it makes that much of a difference. I'm just going to leave them in a 10-frame box. Yeah, they'll have more space. They won't feel as crowded. But still, the emergency response is what is happening here that's going to cause them to build queen cells. Empty. Honey. Honey. I'm looking for pollen now. What I need is pollen. Honey. Brood. Empty. These bees are nice enough. The other day when we set up the starter before, they were really mad. Today's a much better day. They're pretty nice today. Brood. Brood. All right, I've about got it. I've got to find a frame of pollen from some other colony. These bees are just using up all the pollen they're bringing in. They're obviously not pollen hoarders. So, which is okay. I've got to go through some breeder colonies and look for a frame of Deo larva to graft anyway. In the process of doing that, I'm sure I'll find a frame of pollen. It's okay if these bees get a little confused and demoralized and scattered and upset right now. That's probably a good thing. That'll make them more aware of something's changed, something different, and where's the queen bee? Oh no. A lot of these bees are staying here now or moving back because the brood's here. They want to be by the brood. They won't abandon the brood. So I got to get them out of here and into here. All right, what do I do with this box of brood? I got to shake those bees off again, it looks like. But this colony right here was a good one. Well, let me say this. It barely made it through the winter, just one little frame of bees, and they're finally getting caught up. So I think they could use a good boost. Let's put a frame of brood on there, or let's put a whole box of brood on there and get them up to speed for the winter. I shouldn't have had to repeat that. I should have moved that over. Now I got to take the brood out again because all the bees want to be on where the brood is. So I'm starting over. Oops, no. Brood, bees here, brood there. So we'll give them back some brood when I put the queen back in also. But for now, I've got to take it all the way. As I'm shaking these frames off, I notice some nectar coming out. So I know there's a nectar flow on, so I'm not going to feed the bees. I'm not going to feed the cell starter. It's a good idea to feed the cell starter, but I'm pretty sure I can get away with not feeding them right now. I take a look at the weather coming up and the nectar flow that's going on in the neighborhood and make that decision. I'm not going to be able to get away, though, with not feeding them pollen. They need pollen for sure. Take my frame of pollen, put that in. That's what a colony looks like after they've been hopelessly queenless, wondering where mommy is for about an hour. And that's plenty of time for them to realize they have no queen and to be ready to accept a bunch of new cells. They cleaned off my brush for me, thank you. That's how many bees you want. I think that'll be sufficient for a good starter. Let's review what we learned today. So I had a little trouble finding the queen bee. Right, I went through all the frames in a 3-story hive that was pretty strong, and I couldn't find her. And so eventually we had to set up a shaker box, right, an empty box with a queen excluder and another empty box, shake all the bees out, look for the queen on the excluder. I found her eventually. She was kind of stripy, hard to find. All right, then we set up the starter by removing the brood. Got to make sure you got all of the brood out, and brood means eggs and larvae and pupa stage. Any brood's got to come out. So we took the queen out once we found her and put her in a little nuke box temporarily, and then we took the rest of the brood, gave it to another colony a little ways away. We'll remember which one, because we're going to ask for some of that brood back that hasn't emerged here in a couple of weeks, in 10 days, right, when the queen cells are ripe. And then from there we took the cell starter frames and the bars, covered them with honey, right? And the purpose for that was to get the cells inside cleaned up. They've been sitting around a while, so they smell like the hive. The bees put their tongue in there and clean up everything, and it smells just like the hive. All right, thanks for coming along.